Welcome back for another video. FPL is back, but what are the best managers around the world doing this game week? There's a lot of high-owned players that are flagged. Gabriel, Guehi, Burn, Calafiori, Semenyo, Kudus, Enzo. So let's break down what the top all-time managers are doing. Before we get into it, I want to give a big shout out to FPLGameweek.com, which is my favourite site to follow your live ranks, your live mini-leagues, and it's fun to compare your team to other content creators as well. It's free to use, just enter your team ID or your team name and then hit go. For the Content Creators League, just tap the drop down along the top and you can see how you benchmark against the rest. The default view is League View, but they've got Season View as well, which is really nice for a mini league overview. You can basically see which chips everyone in your league's used. There's also a statistics page along the bottom which will basically show you who everyone's captain, who the most transferred players are in your league, and who the most important players are for your team. I used to do this stuff manually back in the day, but it gives you everything you need in one go. The pitch view toggle is a really nice way to view your team and your points, and it has player importance there in that league. So last game week, for example, Gabriel was only 10% important for me because he was so highly owned by other managers in the league. And lastly, they've added a brand new highlights feature, and this is brilliant for a high level summary of the last game week or even the season highlights. So I noticed my name, for example, pops up in the Content Creators League highlights as the most informed manager over the last 3 and last 6 game weeks. It's all free in the Content Creators League, and you can get it for your mini league as well by supporting them on Patreon for only $2. It's a brilliant site, genuinely. Go to FPLGameweek.com to check out your live rank for free, mini leagues and all the rest today. So, manager highlight first. Last game week feels like a very distant memory, but it was the Football Chatter who scored 52 points thanks to a very good transfer bringing in Thiago, and they're top of the Experts League with an overall rank of 11.2k. The global average score was 38 points. Well done if you managed to beat that and the average expert score, which was 47 points. It might not sound like that much, beating the average by 9, but if you multiply that over 38 game weeks, that's how they get those elite ranks at the end of the season. You don't need a huge week every week, you just need to keep chipping away and stay patient. However, for a lot of the top managers, being patient with transfers isn't an option this week with those flags forcing many hands. So only 18% are rolling, 50% making 1 transfer, 23% making 2, 3% making 3, and 1 manager's making 4 or more transfers. There's a few hits this week. 5 experts have got their wildcard active as well. We'll have a look at a wildcard team in a minute. So the big question is, who are they buying and who are they selling? It's been reported that Gabriel could be out for 1 to 2 months, which is a long time in FPL terms as well, with a congested schedule coming up over that period. Like for example, Game Week 13 ends on a Sunday, Game Week 14 starts on Tuesday and that ends on Thursday, Game Week 15 starts that Saturday, so 3 game weeks in 1 week. So any injuries right now are only amplified in terms of game weeks missed, and it is Gabriel who's the most sold player. 57% are selling the Arsenal defender. And their favourite replacement by far is Van Dijk, surprisingly. 46% are buying the Liverpool skipper. I was expecting it to be a bit more spread out actually, because there are some other great premium defenders. If you look at the most bought defenders globally, it's actually Munoz number 1, then it's O'Reilly, and then it's Timber, and then it's Van Dijk, whereas it's basically flipped here. And that could spell a big opportunity for us if Liverpool kick on in this upcoming run. I mean, they have fallen off compared to last season, no disputing that, but they're still a top 3 team, even if the table doesn't currently reflect that. However, there is every chance it could in like 5 game weeks time if they start to kick on now. Other popular replacements are Timber 9%, Senesi, Richards and Munoz 5% each, Anderson 4%. Newcastle play against Man City next, which has got Voltemada the second most sold, or joint second actually, 8%, also selling and dying Enzo. And it's Thiago the most popular replacement there, and that's 1.1 million freed up as well if you make that switch. Despite Liverpool's incredible fixtures, there's still a lot of uncertainty with the mids, isn't there? Like no one's going for Ekitike up top or Isak, and then in midfield no one's actually buying Gakpo among the experts. Only 1 manager is buying Salah this week. 6% are going for Szoboszlai. Now, he has been Liverpool's best player this season really. Only the 1 goal, 1 assist in terms of goal involvement, so not a lot. But he's been surprisingly amazing for Defcons with 11.73 per 90, which ranks 4th highest among all midfielders in the league. The sweet spot is obviously the midfielders that are good for both Defcons and attacking. Next week there's going to be a new charts feature releasing on the Focal app and FPL dot page, which has basically got a load of useful preset charts that I've made that you can choose from. You can also tap or hover on players to view the data there. So this chart, for example, plots non-penalty XGI per 90 versus defcons per 90. So it's Bruno and Ndiaye that are kind of in that Goldilocks zone top right. They're the ones that can do both. Szoboszlai is more towards the bottom right. Very good for defcons, but only 0.22 XGI per 90. 6% buying Bruno this week. I mean, Man United are another team with fantastic fixtures in front of them. 6% buying Minte, 5% Saka. So 5% have got their wildcard active this week, which means just 13% are still yet to activate the wildcard chip. 3% are bench boost in this game week as well. The free hit really is just that one chip that the majority still haven't used. 82% yet to use the free hit. Jack has activated his wildcard. He finished 11k and an 8k in the last 3 years, and his team on the wildcard is Petrovic in goal, Van Dijk, Timber and Riches in defence, Saka and Mbeumo, Bruno and Minte in midfield, and then Mateta, Haaland and Thiago up front. And on his bench it's Dubravka, O'Reilly, Estev and Devaney. Petrovic seems to be the best budget goalie at the moment with the upcoming fixtures. He's got the good combination of getting save points along with playing for a decent defence, albeit having dropped off recently in the more difficult fixtures. Timber is the best route into the Arsenal defence right now, taking into account his attacking threat. Once I see how Arteta decides to line up at the back with Gabriel out, I may look at bringing in another Arsenal defender after the Chelsea away fixture. Van Dijk is the best of the Liverpool defence, although I don't mind Konate too. I've taken a punt on O'Reilly, hoping he can keep his place during the busy schedule. City are the second best team for XGC this season, and he has decent attacking data, and he always looks dangerous when I watch him play too, so high upside potential. Budget midfielders are sparse currently, so I've gone big with Saka, Bruno and Mbeumo. I'm looking to attack those good upcoming United fixtures. I saw in Harry's video Minte ranks 3rd for projected points over the next 6 of all midfielders, only behind Saka and Bruno. And the front 3 feels pretty template and it speaks for itself. Braden's got his bench boost active and he's chasing a 4th top 10k finish. His team is Pope, Munoz, Gabriel, Timber, Senesi, Semenyo, Saka, Enzo, Sarr, Haaland and Mateta, and the bench is Dubravka, Paquetá, Calvert-Lewin and Rodon. Now that's before transfers of course, and he has got 4 free transfers. Here's his plan. After being in a strong place post Gameweek 8 wildcard, where I've only made 1 transfer to go João Pedro to Mateta, I now sit with 4 free transfers, and I want to go aggressive for 2 reasons. Number 1, we get 5 free transfers again soon. And number 2, I'm sick of worrying about using my last bench boost, and I want to finally use it. Since the international break begun, I've been very keen to offload DCL and Paquetá, and since the Gabriel injury news, I'm also looking to rebalance my side. Current transfer plans are, in Gameweek 12, it'd be DCL to Thiago, no brainer for me. I want him for Gameweek 13 especially, when a lot are going to free hit him, and I can sit him on the bench before his great run over Christmas. Paquetá to Dewsbury Hall. I had him earlier in the season and I think he's the best enabler in midfield to use my bench boost on. I'm tempted to go all the way down to Potts, but at this stage I prefer the attacking positions of Dewsbury Hall. And then Gabriel to Anderson. This move is the one looking to rebalance the funds in my side. And with Anderson having a great fixture this week, it works well with my plan to bench boost. After that, I don't use him across the next couple of game weeks, but similar to Thiago, he's got some great fixtures over the busy Christmas period. And lastly, Pope to Sanchez. Usually I don't agree with goalkeeper moves, but this one funds my Gameweek 13 move of Enzo to Bruno, and it also moves me from Newcastle, who haven't been great, and they do play Man City, and it gets me to Chelsea, who've got some great matchups coming up, including this week. As for the bench boost, I think it's a great week to use it with 8 strong attackers and 4 strong defenders, and also just not having to worry about it anymore. Hopefully no other late injury news prevents it. Thanks for sending in, gents. Good luck with the chips. Captaincy up next, and it's certainly much more of a conversation this week, isn't it? Haaland's going to be captained by 65% of the top all-time managers, Saka 19%, Bruno 8%, Salah 5% and Mateta 3%. Haaland just scored his 32nd goal of the season in all comps over the break. He's got Newcastle away, who do seem to be a team that have got the better of him in recent years. He hasn't scored against Hull's Newcastle since 2022, that's 6 games ago, whereas Saka's got a great record in North London derbies. Burn's obviously going to be a big miss for Newcastle as well, maybe that's a factor. Probably be Hall that comes in at left back. In terms of FPL review projections, it's got Salah top on 6.9 points this week, and then Bruno on 6.2, Saka 6.0, and then it's Haaland 4th with 5.8. So Haaland, yeah, 4th place, but not significantly behind Saka there. But there is a gap there versus Bruno and Salah. Mateta, perhaps the one being slept on as well, given that he's got Wolves, and they have conceded more goals than anyone. But will we see a new manager bounce under Edwards? If you appreciate the many hours that goes into each expert's video, hit subscribe below. It's completely free, and these videos will help you do better in FPL. So it's the experts team next, which is the 15 template picks across the hundreds of players in their teams. And the team is Raya, Anderson, Van Dijk, Senesi, Semenyo, Enzo, Bruno, Sarr, Saka, Mateta and Haaland. So 3-5-2, Haaland captain, Saka vice. How many players have you got from the team? It's an amazing team this week on paper. Now Gabriel's instantly left the team off the back of all those transfers, and it's Van Dijk that's come in. Gabriel and Reinders are the 2 players in the list that have negative ownership when we compare experts versus overall, so they're the players that are not so keen on now. It's worth me noting as well that Timber is 47% owned among the top managers, which is higher than Rodon, but we've got to keep the team realistic within budget. This squad's got 0.5 million or so in the bank. Final thoughts and tips from the top all-timers. Here's what they wanted to say to you this week. FPL obsessed family still have the wildcard. As things stand, I'm likely to play my wildcard in Gameweek 13 to deal with the Gabriel injury and target the fixture swings. For those with Gabriel and a spare transfer, it definitely seems like a no-brainer to sell this game week. FPL Fly says, those feeling brave might want to think about betting against Haaland this week. Palace, Liverpool, all United players could all do better than the robot if you choose wisely. I would consider Sarr, Zoboslai or Cunha. Adam Capstick is looking to play aggressive with 5 free transfers coming up in Game Week 16 in mind. Says, with a wildcard in hand and the impending 5 free transfers for AFCON, over the coming weeks I'm going to be taking advantage of the opportunity to take some short-term punts, knowing that I've got the full pack options to get myself out of jail if needed. This week that means doubling up on Liverpool for their favourable fixture run despite their form. And lastly, Johan is thinking similarly. I want to take a chance to bet against Haaland until Salah goes to AFCON with the free hit Haaland in for Game Week 13. With a wildcard free hit and AFCON transfers, I think I'll have an opportunity to maximise captaincy and go differential for these coming game weeks, but no Semenyo and Haaland will be scary. Thanks very much for watching. We're going to hear from the #1 all-time FPL manager Tom Dollymore in the morning with his transfer plans for his team. See you soon for the next one.